now India is set to take another major step in its global trade push. On Thursday, India and the Gulf Cooperation Council, or GCC, will sign the terms of reference for a free trade agreement, formally kick-starting negotiations for a comprehensive trade pact. The signing of the terms of reference is significant as it defines the scope, rules and framework under which the proposed FTA will be negotiated. The finalization will be presided over by Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal. The move comes at a crucial moment for India's trade diplomacy. Just 3 days ago, India and the United States announced a trade deal under which Washington slashed tariffs on Indian goods from 50% to 18%. Last week, India also concluded negotiations for a long-pending free trade agreement with the European Union. Now, India already has trade agreements with the GCC members, the UAE and Oman. The India-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA, has been in force since May 2022, while the India-Oman CEPA was signed in December 2025. Negotiations are also underway with Qatar, while Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Bahrain are the other GCC members. Now, FTA talks between India and the GCC are not new. They began with a framework agreement in 2004, saw limited progress in 2006 and 2008, and were paused when the GCC suspended negotiations globally in 2011. Talks resumed after the GCC Secretary General's visit to India in 2022. In FY25, India's GCC trade touched nearly $179 billion. This accounted for over 15% of India's global trade. While India imports crude oil and natural gas, it exports gems, metals, machinery, chemical and steel, making this deal economically and strategically critical. And amid claims by US President Donald Trump himself that India has agreed to stop buying Russian oil, the Kremlin has pushed back, making it clear that New Delhi remains free to source energy from any country. Now, reacting to the statement, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov and Russia said that Russia is not India's only oil supplier and that India has long purchased crude and petroleum products from multiple nations. He also added that there was nothing new in India buying oil from sources other than Russia. Now, Peskov was responding to US President Donald Trump's assertion that under the India-US trade deal, New Delhi has agreed to stop buying Russian oil and shift purchases to the United States and possibly even Venezuela. A day earlier, the Kremlin said that it had received no official communication from India about halting Russian oil imports. Meanwhile, Russia has reiterated that the hydrocarbons trade remains mutually beneficial. With Russia oil accounting for just 0.2% of India's imports until 2021, India became the largest buyer of discounted Russian crude after Western sanctions following the Ukraine war. India's talks with Washington. Well, External Affairs Minister Dr. S Jaishankar has held a series of high-level bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the Critical Minerals Ministerial in Washington, engaging with key global partners including Canada and Peru. Jaishankar met Canadian Foreign Minister Anita Anand, describing the interaction as positive and forward-looking. In a post on social media platform X, the External Affairs Minister said it was great to meet his Canadian counterpart and the discussions focused on taking bilateral ties with Canada forward. The External Affairs Minister also held talks with Peruvian Foreign Minister Hugo de Zella, with both sides agreeing to deepen cooperation across key areas. Now, these engagements come as India steps up its focus on critical minerals vital for clean energy, electronics and advanced technologies. Addressing the ministerial hosted by US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Jaishankar called for structured international cooperation to de-risk global critical mineral supply chains. He warned that the excessive concentration of production and processing in a few countries poses a serious risk to global economic and technological security, highlighting the need for diversified supply networks.
The main reason I came was that there was a Critical Minerals Ministerial, which was convened by Secretary of State Marco Rubio. There were a number of countries, I think about 50 odd countries which were here. So that meeting took place today. In fact, it's still going on. I took a break from that. That was the principal reason. It was a very good discussion. Critical minerals is a very important subject. The US has been a partner for some years. Today they launched a new initiative called Forge, which we have supported. It's a kind of successor to the Mineral Security Partnership.
And on to other trade talks that India is holding with its partners. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will pay an official visit to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia from February 7th to 8th at the invitation of the Malaysian Prime Minister. Now, this will be Prime Minister's third visit to Malaysia and the first since India and Malaysia elevated their ties to a comprehensive strategic partnership in August 2024. Now, during the visit, Prime Minister Modi will hold bilateral discussions with his Malaysian counterpart. The Prime Minister will also interact with members of the Indian diaspora as well as industry and business leaders. The 10th India-Malaysia CEO Forum is scheduled to be held during the visit. India and Malaysia share long-standing historical, cultural and civilizational links, further strengthened by a 2.9 million strong Indian community in Malaysia, the third largest Indian diaspora anywhere in the world. The Ministry of External Affairs said the visit will allow both leaders to review the full spectrum of bilateral cooperation, including trade and investment, defense and security, maritime cooperation, digital and financial technologies, energy, healthcare, education, tourism, as well as people-to-people ties, while setting the roadmap for future engagement. And French President Emmanuel Macron is likely to visit India from February 17th to 19th in a visit expected to further deepen the India-France strategic partnership with a strong focus on innovation, AI and defense cooperation. Sources say President Macron's India visit may begin from Mumbai, where he is expected to participate in the India-France Year of Innovation program. The French president will also travel to New Delhi to take part in the AI India Summit, underlining the growing cooperation between the two countries in emerging technologies. During the visit, bilateral talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi are proposed, with discussions expected to cover defense, technology, trade and strategic cooperation. A large high-level delegation will accompany President Macron, including several French ministers and leading business figures. Sources indicate that major announcements are likely in the defense sector, further strengthening military and strategic ties between India and France. France's defense minister is also expected to visit Bengaluru, reflecting the focus on defense manufacturing, aerospace and industrial cooperation. Now, apart from the AI summit in Delhi, President Macron may participate in multiple engagements across sectors, highlighting the expanding scope of India-France relations.